Welcome to the Sunny Side of Parenting channel. Today we're going to talk about homeschooling. And if you're new to the channel, you may not know that we've been homeschooling for just over a month, and it has been quite a journey. There has been good days and there has been bad days, but overall I am so happy that we've taken this chance of homeschooling. Now, what we're going to talk about today is our changes. We have learned a lot over the past month, and this is sparking some major changes in our homeschool approach. Now, when we started this journey, we were using time for learning as well as teacher worksheets, and those were paid options that we were using. Now, we knew going into it that this was going to be a trial. We didn't know how the kids would react to this curriculum, how I would react to this curriculum, teaching them for the first time at home, and it did not go well. I was finding that I was running from computer to computer. The kids were having a very difficult time trying to click the buttons on the program for time for learning. They didn't enjoy it. I felt like they were not getting anything out of it, and the worksheets that we were getting from the teacher worksheets were not as animated or exciting as I had hoped it would be for the kids. Now, we have a lot of friends that also homeschool, and there's a huge military community that also homeschools. So they have Facebook pages, they meet regularly. So I've been honing in on those resources, asking a lot of questions and figuring out what things we can try other than time for learning, which I felt was not the best option for us in the long run. So there is a curriculum that kept popping up in our conversations with other people that homeschool, and it is called The Good and the Beautiful. Now, there is so many people talking about how much they love The Good and the Beautiful. I had to go check it out. And mind you, I have been checking out other curriculum, trying to find something that wasn't going to break the bank, because unfortunately, we don't get any tax breaks for being homeschoolers. We get really nothing. It costs sometimes more to homeschool your kids than send them off to public school. So with enough people talking about the good and the beautiful, I did my research. I wanted to see what the cost would be, what the curriculum looked like, the layout of the courses, and how easy it would be for me to teach the kids this curriculum. Now, you can have the kids take a placement test, which is what I ended up doing, so I can gauge where we should start. Now, to give you a little bit of a background if you're new to the channel, we started homeschooling because my daughter was having a very hard time in school. She is learning at a mid-year kindergarten level. Our son is currently in kindergarten and he is doing fantastic. So I decided to pull them both out so that they have each other to feed off of. So I felt pulling them both out of school and homeschooling them would be a great benefit for our family and be a great benefit for each of the children socially and academically. And it also gives me the peace of mind that I have my children with me all the time after all of the unfortunate incidents with school shootings, violence, so on, bullying, the list goes on and on. So it is definitely a peace of mind to know that I have my kids with me all the time at home. So getting back to it, I completed a placement test for each of the kids. They both placed in a beginning first grade level. So what I'm doing is I'm bumping Peter up, my son, into first grade. Our daughter is going backwards at the beginning first grade level, and we went from there, which kind of works out for me because I don't have to change up the curriculum for one child or the other. They could actually learn together, which helps them socially and academically as well. Now, on the cost for The Good and the Beautiful, they do have those free downloads available on their website. So I downloaded Level 1 Language Arts and Level 1 Math. And I did print out the full curriculum for the first grade level for each of the kids, so they each have their own worksheets. And if I find that they are still struggling in a certain level or a certain lesson, I could go ahead and go in there and print off another worksheet so that we can hone in on that subject and allow them to master it before we're moving on. I also like that they have different cards. I believe it's called B cards that focus on a certain level of their language arts. So with those cards, they'll have a list of sight words that we need to master before we're able to move on to certain levels within the language arts curriculum. Now, we've been using the Good and the Beautiful curriculum for about 3 weeks now, and it has been going beautifully. The kids have been enjoying the worksheets that come along with the curriculum. They love the structure of the class. And as for me, I love that I can sit down every morning, just read a very small paragraph of what needs to be done with the kids beside me, and then know what I need to teach that day. There is very little to no preparation the night before, which with Time for Learning, I felt like I was trying to pull worksheets here, worksheets there, trying to come up with some kind of weekly curriculum for the kids. And I felt very confused as to what needed to come next. With the Good and the Beautiful, everything is laid out for you. I don't have to really think too much. At this time, since the kids are at such a lower level, I don't have to go out and research how to do a certain math problem because I have forgotten it since high school. It's very simple, very easy to follow, and the kids have very much enjoyed it. Now, the Good and the Beautiful also has a science section. They also have history books. Those do not come with a free download. So I think maybe next year we'll look into possibly purchasing some of the booklets, which really, guys, it won't break the bank. I believe some of the booklets are anywhere from $20 to $60. And if I just buy one booklet, I could scan a page and then have another sheet for the other child. So it's very much budget friendly, and I highly recommend this curriculum. Now, that is the beautiful thing about homeschooling. You can hone in on a subject until your child masters that subject. If they don't understand it, just spend a few more days or even just a few more hours on that subject before you move on. In public school, a lot of teachers don't have that option to do that because they have to cater to the majority or the average level that their students are at. Jane was falling behind because she was not mastering certain subjects, and they were not able to master it with her alone before they moved on. So she was falling way, way behind. And guys, mind you, I am not the best teacher. I don't have a teacher mindset. I never thought that I would be homeschooling my kids. I am very much an introvert. I'm not animated, but it's coming out of me. It's coming out of me for the benefit of the kids. We are getting very creative. We are trying to have as much fun with this as we can. When we go grocery shopping, we take clipboards and the kids write down the prices, and then we tally it all up at the end. It helps them. It also helps me stay on a budget when I'm grocery shopping, so I know where we're at as we make it through the aisles. So that's just one example of how we try to use our everyday activities to help the kids learn different skills. The other day, they seemed a little bored with school, and we were learning about the sound AR. So I was trying to make it fun, like, "Arr, we're pirates today." I had them dress up as pirates. I got the little treasure coins that the kids had up in their play bin, and every time they got a word right, I would have them take a piece of treasure from the treasure box, and they would have to say, "Arr, I got the treasure." So it was a good time. The kids enjoyed it. And when you're trying to be creative in the classroom and you master that creativity, the kids are more likely to remember it. And they talk about that day a lot. So I'm going to have to continue on with those creative days so that they can retain a lot of the information that we learn in school. If you're thinking about homeschooling your kids, I do recommend The Good and the Beautiful. It is a Christian-based curriculum. However, I have not seen too much religion in the curriculum so far. It does teach a lot of respect, good behavior, things like that you definitely want your kids to grasp just naturally. So even though it is a Christian-based curriculum, I think it's a great curriculum that could cater to any family, regardless of your faith. Another change we have made is, if you watched our previous videos on how we were preparing for homeschool, my initial expectation was to homeschool up in the loft upstairs. And I had everything laid out, all of their homeschool material up on the desk upstairs. I had a little table for them. Jane doesn't usually like to sit down when she learns, and I've learned that Peter doesn't either. They like to stand because it also helps them with their wiggles. But it was not working out upstairs. So we brought the Homeschool down here into the kitchen, and I'll turn the camera real quick so you guys can see. You can see right here I have a little shelf with all of their material. It has their painting, crafts, all of their curriculum in the folders, and then it has all their pencils, scissors, glue, all the stuff that we need during the day. So I don't have to keep on running upstairs to the loft where I have more supplies, but this is our everyday shelf. And then we take the learning over here to the table. Now, I'll sit here at the head of the table and the kids will sit on each side of the table, and it works out really well. So that is where we learn throughout the day. And while I'm making lunch, which is usually between 11 and 12, I'll put number blocks or some type of learning YouTube channel on the television, and they will enjoy some time down here with some type of activity. So I may have magnets down here, or they have these little blocks where they can build robots and such, you know, things that will allow them to be creative so that they're not just sitting there on the couch watching TV for an hour. Another thing we do is try to get the kids out of the house as much as possible. So we do focus on our curriculum here downstairs during the day. We mostly do our language arts and our math every single day. On Fridays, we work on our Hooked on Phonics. So I do have the Hooked on Phonics app that I paid $10 for every month. They send you booklets, they send you tiny little books that the kids can read, and it's really easy for the kids to follow. So every Friday, that's what we work on for about an hour. And they do need to follow a certain level every week in order to move on. So every week they'll finish a level, and then the next week they'll move on to the next. And I very much like Hooked on Phonics. In another video, I'll show you guys what that Hooked on Phonics program looks like and what you get with a $10 membership. But I do recommend it. The kids absolutely enjoy it. Initially, I wanted to do field trips every single week, but that is just not happening. I am not finding enough opportunity for field trips other than the occasional field trips that homeschooling communities out here do. We went to a farm. We also did the museum, but there's just not enough. So when I do see an opportunity for a homeschool field trip, I do sign up for that. However, we do go to SeaWorld quite often. We go to Aquatica often, and that is at least bi-weekly. And the kids have a blast at Aquatica and SeaWorld. We do have the annual pass membership, so we can go there as often as we want. Our parking is included. So if you have something like that around you, an amusement park that is not too far away that you can go to just to get out of the house and not have to spend a dime, maybe look into that. It may be beneficial for your family and a good place for your kids to go and just get the little bit of wiggles out. So guys, with that, I'm gonna close out this video. I don't wanna make it too long for you. If you wanna learn more about our homeschool journey and what we do when we're not homeschooling, because we are always active, we are hardly ever in our home. We are always trying to find ways to explore, get out, learn new things, and we post everything here on the channel. So if you haven't done so already, click that subscribe button and help us out by giving us a thumbs up to this video. And we'll see you guys very, very soon.
Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea.